Morning. So this morning, Dad and I are going to run down and look at some corn that we planted. Today is May the 7th. The last day that I was able to plant was the 27th. So we're going to see if that corn's out of the ground. In that time, we've got about 3.5 inches of rain. Temperatures have ranged anywhere from probably 55 at night to 80. So
I think we got 80.
I think we've been warm and humid there a few days.
A week or so, 2 weeks ago.
But we're going to do that, and then we're going to finish prepping the bean drill. So one thing we're looking at, we've got some, I can't remember what we called the weed. Dad calls it the weed for. I just can't remember what we ended up identifying it as. To have to look now, but seeing if our burn down killed that. We've had issues with it before, and then we're also checking our corn. There's a corn plant. We've not only had a lot of rain, it's been a lot of hard packing rains. Luckily this is sandy dirt, so we should be okay. Looks like I missed the strip pretty good right here. There's a corn plant. So this corn is just peaking. I'd say by the end of tomorrow, all this corn will be out of the ground, and in 2 days you'll probably be able to see it from the road. So one other weed we've got is this green bushy plant. It's, from what I understand, it's called Italian ryegrass. I think that's what I've been told it is. This field's had a full burn down dose on it, and if you notice, this stuff still looks very alive. Barely even pissed it off. I don't know what the answer is in season. There's some stuff we could have sprayed in the fall that would have cleaned it up, but then you can't plant anything for 6 months or something like that, 3 months. So this fall we're really going to have to focus on killing that. Now this corn here is 3 days ahead of the corn we just looked at. This was the very first corn that we planted. This is planted April 24th. Like I said, today's May 7th. I can see rows looking down through there. I don't know how well they're going to show up on this little camera, but I can see the rows here too. Something eating on it.
Huh?
Something ate on that one. It's always good to see the corn come up and confirm that everything was in fact working. We got all these computers telling us they're working, but I actually like to see the finished product. It's the only good thing about getting rained out and not planting 1,000 acres in 3 or 4 straight days. You can actually see that everything's working. So the way we had these shut-offs, we should have been stopping about 10 inches shy of the boundary. Looks like they might be a little close. That's not 10 inches. But we also didn't cross into that row any. So it'll work. We don't want to overlap. We like to leave 10 to 15 inches in between though, because that's about the width of a corn snout. So when we come through here with our first pass, we're not knocking ears off. So here's where we were rained out. Corn plants are up. Next pass. Nothing's up just yet. I'd say we're peaking. See if I can find a furrow. We should be peaking because this is the same date as the other field. This is the field, part of the field that's planted on the 27th. There we go. There's some corn plants. I wonder what kind of compaction that kind of deer makes. In this part of the field, something's been eating on this corn. I'm trying to see if we can find us a bug or anything. A cutworm or something like that. Them just little night crawlers.
What?
Think it's chemical? Here you can see this corn plant really growing. So with corn, that seed will stay in the ground. Now with beans, they will actually push to the top of the ground, but Watch how she starts to grow. Just go ahead and put this back. It's probably not going to grow, and even if it does, it's 3 or 4 days behind. One thing about it, in the strip, nice and mellow. Out of the strip, a little harder. So this field that we're in, we no-tilled the beans in last year, and these stalks are 2 years old. I mean, these stalks would have been planted 2 years ago. Quite a bit of corn fodder left out here. That's why we like to vertical till stalks. Vertical tillage, you're not really going very deep into the ground, and you're not really moving a lot of dirt, but you're chopping up those stalks. We're even running devastators on our corn head, which really do help bend and break those stalks down, but there's still a good bit of plant residue from the corn crop of 2023. So that's an alarming find. We're pretty sure that's a cutworm. So those will, well, they'll do like they say in the name of them, they'll cut the corn off. All right, so we got a few more gauge wheels to put on this bean drill, and then, well, that task will be done. We still have to drain some wheat out of the hoppers, which is no real big task at all. That is just pulling 2 meters. And I'd like to put seed in it. I want everything, both planters, to be able to pull out of the shed and slam in acres whenever the weather breaks. Now with this drill, if it's completely filled up, we should be able to put about 150, 160 acres in the ground. And that would be handy. Ideally, like to get 250 a day, or at least 200 a day. Probably 200, depending on who's running it and what fields they're in. And the corn planter, we should be able to get with one fill up, if I fill both boxes, about 220, 240 acres. And I would love to just hop in these machines and make that happen. But we're going to raise up our bar. I don't know why, but this Avatar bleeds down very quickly. Like within 30 minutes, we'll be back on the ground raising it up again. I don't know what that's all about. I don't really like that, but I don't know how to fix it. I don't know if the cylinders are just that weak. I don't know. If anybody from Horsch is watching, I'd love some feedback. Maybe I have something plumbed up wrong. I don't know. This box that Horsch sent these in, pretty neat. Comes off in sections. And then they fold flat. I won't keep that box. It's pretty cool. I hope while they were engineering that box, they engineered these gauge wheels to last a little longer. Because as cool as that box is, I don't want to have to get another one. So each one of these rows has shims. Got to make sure we don't lose those. Need a 24 millimeter box end gear wrench. So I know what you're thinking. This is a job that should have been done in the winter, and you're absolutely right. This job got pushed back, partly because this new tractor didn't have an ag leader in it yet. We were kind of waiting on that to hook it up. We should have just took it to the other tractor, done this, and then rehooked. But we didn't. So we're doing it now. Obviously, if we'd have been able to plant in the last week, we would have prioritized this over everything, and we'd have beans in the ground. But, well, the weather has been what the weather has been. The Avatar, for the most part, is pretty simple. And these gauge wheels were kind of unexpected since they are new. I mean, they're a year old. About, what do we say, 2,000, 2,500 acres, something like that. They shouldn't fall apart like this. I think it's just a bad batch, but hopefully we don't have to do this again for a long time. So initially we were just going to change the ones that were bad. By the time we did that, we only had 17 left, so we got 10 left to change, and then we'll be good. Assuming they took the same amount of shims and everything, should work like a new one. No, wrong way. Turns out a 15/16 and a 24 millimeter are close enough to the same that we were able to use this gear wrench. which really speeds things up because you can't quite get a breaker bar in there or a ratchet or an impact. Morning. Don't get your hopes up. We're not planting in this video. We are moving some seat tenders around. I'm gonna fill the bean planter and kind of staging some stuff in preparation. I'm gonna hook up a tillage tool today and hopefully spread some fertilizer later this evening. Problem is we got a 65% chance of rainfall in a little bit. So yesterday we were knocking this drill gauge wheel project out pretty good. Had a couple agronomists show up and walked a couple wheat fields. Found a couple issues in the wheat, nothing too major, but anyways, basically by the time we got done with that, well, we didn't come back to work on the drill. So I got 5 gauge wheels to put on this morning. Then we're gonna pull this drill out and we're going to fill it up with seed. Well, that's complete. So we're gonna pull it out here and dump what wheat is left in the drill. There's not much left in there. We'll get that out and then she'll be ready to fill up. Now BJ hooked up to the seed tender. I don't know if he's gonna go get some seed for it or what, but we're gonna need some beans here sometime pretty soon. Got a guy from Seed Consultants picking up some empty Pro boxes. Happen to be going through the area. Now obviously we're going to have a lot more empty Pro boxes soon, but them things accumulate, and if they want to take a few of them, it's fine by me. So those get returned every year. That's the black boxes that the seed comes in. Very expensive if you don't return them. I think those things are like $1,100 a pop or something like that. So definitely want to make sure we get all those back to the company. I think Tweety Bird had an accident. Possibly with a window. So we're going to pull these meters right here. Easy to clean up. It's right there. That's for record keeping purposes when I forget where they are. Doing this on the concrete is way better than doing this in the gravel. Easier on the legs. So these are the meters. These things spin out seed. Only so much can fit in there. That thing's reading how many RPMs these meters are spinning, and that's how it figures the population. Basically, the amount of RPMs these spin dictate how much seed we're throwing into this air tube, and then that dictates how much we're putting in the ground. That's how the population gets controlled on this air seeder. And these are little motors that drive it. So I had put corn in this thing a while back. I'm kind of suspecting there might be a coon in it because there's corn coming out. About to find out. Might get western here, folks. I think we're going to turn this on over here in the grass. That way I don't have to fish this raccoon, which I'm pretty sure there's a raccoon in there, out of that semi. That does not sound fun. I mean, it does, but I'm gonna tear the crap out of the truck. The way I would want to do it. Patching bullet holes in aluminum. naggle this thing out into this field, and we'll click her on for a second. Now, I'm not going to run everything out, but I'm going to clear this auger out. Huh. I'll be darned. Figured for sure there'd be a coon in there. So you may be wondering, why is there just regular corn in there? That's not seed corn. Into that seed tender, had a buddy who wanted to buy some corn for cattle feed. That was the easiest way to weigh it out, to know what to charge him. But we didn't end up doing it, so there's just been 1,100 pounds of corn sitting in this tender most of the winter. So we've got to get this conveyor set. With any luck, it's froze up. Inner pessimism coming out.
Okay, Bob.
See what variety we want. We want our earlier variety, which is this one over here. We used to have a lot of loaders and stuff like that over here. It made this job a lot easier, but now there's the other building.
Oh, run home. Here, sweetie. You got it. Oh. Concrete block there. Hey, watch that block.
I might be able to get her here. Maybe. Pretend like this is Toy Farm, and let's just drag the whole thing over. Remember being a kid playing with your little farm toys? And stuff's in the wrong spot, so you just picked it up.
Yeah.
Now, one time I turned on this conveyor, and there was a coon in it. The next day I came back, turned it on, I was ready for him. We didn't have to worry about the coon anymore. Well, I think Hans finished him after I, ventilated him. I did the ventilating, Hans did the disposal. There's a sign. No creatures. That's pretty good. So I have moved that conveyor by myself. It's not the funnest task in the world. But the bulk bins are really handy though. Once you've got them, especially with beans or wheat, you're going through a lot of products, pull in, swing under there, fill up, take off. Now obviously now they'd be a lot more handy at the other grain site, but this still works. So at one time, the seed company we used, Seed Consultants, they had a program where if you bought so many units, they would put up bins for you. We've had those things there for probably every bit of 20 years probably. They've worked out well. I don't think we've ever had one of them full. Like 1,000 units is probably the most we've ever had one. I think there's 600 of each of these. I've had 800, it's probably the max we've ever had in them. Now they did used to be a different color. They were like a yellow cream color, but yeah, they're about the same color as the tender. But had them painted one year. They're starting to rust a little bit. Well, now they look real bad. Better clean up our mess before this storm gets here. Starting to cloud up back here. I would prefer it not do this. Really like to plant tomorrow. Well, probably wouldn't be tomorrow, but possibly Saturday. Planting is one of my favorite jobs. It just it's very rewarding to me. I'm very frustrated because of the weather. Too dry, too wet, never perfect. So we're gonna pull the Avatar back in. It sure looks like it's gonna rain. The only thing we have left to do to this thing is calibrate the meters, and we can do that in here. So I'll pull this in here, and I'm gonna unhook the seed tender. Good, it's starting to rain. Been like a day and a half since we had the last one. And Dad did just spray Turned out the last field that I had planted corn in, only half of it had been sprayed. So he went ahead and sprayed that. And he said it's about a day away from being able to plant, but this is gonna hurt that prediction. I don't think it's just a little storm. I think it's gonna be a quick, fast, and furious pop-up shower. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. I know the videos are a little bit behind, but I'm doing my very best to catch up. It's just been pretty chaotic around here lately. But hang tight, and should be plenty of planting coverage coming soon. And thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.